All right, welcome back everybody to House of Prep. I hope you guys have had a great weekend. Look, I've got a topic that is very important. I've had multiple people over the last few months, whether it's emails, comments, and videos. They talk about and discuss, hey, I don't have support of family members, whether it's the spouse, children, friends. They don't support with my desire and my wants for prepping and my activities of prepping. They don't seem to agree with me. They're not really helpful. In some circumstances, they can be kind of putting down. And I just felt like we needed to take time to talk about this. And what a great opportunity to jump in the comments, maybe talk about some other suggestions that I don't touch on. Because I've tried to sit down, I've tried to think, I've come up with a small list of some things that I wanted to talk about, discuss, and maybe try to be helpful and encouraging in the best way that I can. So please jump in the comments. This is a chance to support your fellow preppers. Maybe you have some experiences. Maybe you have some real life advice. Hey, look, this is what I had to overcome. This is what my outcome was, and some things. Look, this isn't something that I'm trying to do to downplay anybody. I'm not trying to say that anybody's right or wrong. Let's just kind of make that understood right away, because look, everybody's different. The same reason why you say, hey, yeah, let's talk, but whatever we do, don't talk about religion and politics, because you know where that's going to head, right? Unless everybody happens to be on the same page, then you're fine, you're golden. But you have people that have different takes on things in the room, that have different ideals. It could go wrong, it can go bad. So just remember that. Remember that people have different walks of life. They have different ways they look at things. The first thing I wrote down is, remember, society as a whole has just been brought up and bred to rely upon the system, okay? Just all walks of life. Everybody has just been in that thought, look, we never have to go without. You can almost think of it as a spoiled society mentality, right? Somebody else will always be there to take care of whatever happens. I mean, you see FEMA, whether it's the National Guard, there's just always somebody there to step in to bring supplies in an event, in a catastrophe. And a lot of times they do, and hats off to them, and so thankful for first responders and those that are there to help take care of people that are in a crisis mode, right? So we're thankful for them, and not to downplay them whatsoever. Sometimes their timing isn't there right when you need them, right? When you have events in life. Sometimes it's hard to take care of everybody. So just remember, though, when you're talking with somebody who may not agree with you or understand as you, be understanding that that's just the societal thinking that's already there, that's just how they are. And it's going to be, you can't just flip a switch on that with a lot of folks. You're just going to have to work through this, which, let's just go down the list here. Don't make them feel inferior or unintelligent. Look, it's so hard. Look, we're passionate when you feel like you love your family, you love your spouse, you love your friends, and you're passionate about prepping, and you see it. You see the needs. You've seen the events in life. You see the potentials for things, and you're very, very passionate, and you want to share and spread that passion with your family, with your friends. But look, you have to be careful not to make them feel inferior or unintelligible. You don't want them putting up a wall. Some of you are already saying, okay, that's what I'm talking about, Jerry. There's a wall there. And you need to be careful not to try to push yourself or your thoughts or your feelings too quickly, right? Or too aggressively. Consider your own passion level. How are you coming across? Are you full throttle, right? You're coming at them, 100 miles an hour with passion, with, look, we got to prep, we got to do this. And you may be right. But some folks don't take that the same way as you or I or somebody else might. Sometimes our spouses can be very supportive and things. Sometimes they're not, because everybody's wired differently, and you need to make sure you understand that. Number 3, allow real life events to be the teacher. Sometimes where you're trying to be the teacher, the best time for classes in session, right, is when we look back and we see like what Texas went through last winter, what we saw throughout the nation and the world this last year. Different things that get panic bought, right, off the shelves and things. When those events are taking place, that's a great time to try to have open conversation, to allow those events and the people that have testimonials that went without or had struggles or had some trials, allow that maybe to be the teacher to help teach those around you that you're trying to bring on board with some things, right? Number 4, start conversations about small amounts to prep for, because like I've mentioned in the past, sometimes it can be very overwhelming of your passion, your level, your goals, right? The things that you've set as your goals. Sometimes you start with, hey, we're going to this, and it's going from 0 to 100 like now. And sometimes that can be overwhelming to people, especially, still dealing with after effects of sickness, so I apologize. So start with the small stuff, like maybe, hey, get on board with, like I said, watch what's going around us, hurricanes, storms, snowstorms, events in life that you can see that, okay, let's start with the short-term goals. I would love to get 2 weeks or a month worth of storage stuff, of stock stuff. Hey, that a 2-week goal, that sounds pretty good. Getting a backup of everything we own. Hey, we can do that. That's reasonable. So start with some of the small goals. Now, again, these are ideas. You may say, hey, I've tried that. And no go. So let's just keep down the list, okay? I'm not sure if any of these will help you or not. I hope maybe you can glean an idea or two out of this. And then if not, come back and reread all the comments, because there's always good real-life comments out there, okay? So number 5, make sure the bills are being paid first. Sometimes with the passion and with the desire and seeing the necessity and the need to have preps and supplies, to have your own insurance policy, right, being prepared. Sometimes you might start skipping out on paying some of the bills because, hey, that money needs to be in survival stuff, right? Like we need to have food and items that we can live on when there's maybe some potential issues coming up in our world. But don't remember, because if you stop paying the bills and you have a significant other or a family member, someone that sees that, they're going to start getting upset. Make sure you're taking care of your day-to-day living and your bills to live, to have lights on, your water, right, your insurances, everything that you need, car payments. Take care of your bills first. Learn to balance your budget and have a partial of that budget that goes towards preps, and then try to work that out. Try to come out with an agreement if possible. Work out a compromise and have maybe a small percentage or whatever you agree upon that goes to a weekly preparation purchasing. But include them. Don't just go behind them and not pay bills and go and spend all this money over here. And oh, by the way, this is what happened. Sometimes that's a bad way if you know you have somebody around you that's just not quite bought in, right? They haven't bought into it. So number 6, look, be patient and baby steps to the level that they're comfortable doing. Find out their comfort levels. What are they comfortable prepping? What have they kind of maybe relayed in disgust of what they would be comfortable doing, and try to work with that to start. Try to see if that can grow and blossom into something else. Look, an example would be start with writing down like what you throw away and things and different things in life. Like assist with rotating. So like when people throw stuff away, if you could get them to buy in on something as simple as write that on the grocery list. So You throw away that jar of peanut butter. Well, look, part of what we're trying to do here is be better prepared, better organized. If you don't mind, when you throw that jar away or whatever, please write that immediately on the list, because you can get people to buy in. That's pretty simple. That's easy to do. And it may take a little time for a habit to form out of that, but start with the small steps. Sometimes baby steps are needed. And then they start finding, hey, look, and that's their way to contribute then. And maybe they'll buy in on the small levels, right? So assist with rotating, whether you're going to the grocery store. I did a video over the weekend and I saw some great comments and some real life examples of how they've gotten their family to help and assist with putting groceries away and labeling their groceries with dates, and somebody puts them away. People are in charge of rotating and learning and teaching some of these small things. So start with the baby steps. Don't start off with, hey, we're prepping to survive the zombie apocalypse, and that's your go-to, right? That's how you're starting the conversation and the prepper journey with somebody who's just not on board. So don't start with that, okay? Don't scare them off right away. Start with the small stuff. Look, you're prepping out of love, and sometimes have a sit-down discussion and allow that to be part of the discussion that you're prepping out of love and that you're concerned. And maybe ask the other person involved, hey, what's your worries? Do you have any worries? Like bring up some of the events that we forementioned, that things in life that have happened, and maybe bring that up and say, hey, did anything out of those concern you? Was there some things like the toilet paper shortages or the restaurants shutting down and then everybody buying up? What about the food prices going up, the meats? And does any of that worry you? Do you foresee that affecting our budget if that continues? Would you find it prudent to maybe buy some of that to save money in the future to get in sales and items and things now? Maybe ask open-ended questions that gets them to open up and discuss things, and kind of find out where their comfort zone is. And then that gives you the opportunity to explain your worries. And explain that, look, we're not talking fear here. We're not talking panic buying. We're not talking about going out and just clearing shelves and each of us getting a grocery cart and getting everything we can. We're talking about being smart and doing this methodically in a very organized manner, and very well thought out and planned methods, and having an open conversation and seeing if maybe you can come up with a common ground that might address both of your fears, not fears, but worries, right? Because again, we're not prepping on fear, but your worries, things that you might worry about, or things that you see that could be a problem, or things that you could be short on. What about like water issues? If there was to be water issues, do you have any concerns where we might get our water? Or would we have enough water stored up? Or water filtration? So you can open up all kinds of avenues with this and just have open conversations about it. And remember, it doesn't have to happen in one conversation. It doesn't have to happen overnight. Now, you don't want to open up this conversation every single evening after work, or you're going to push them away. But find out what they're comfortable with you doing. And I'll use an example, like my wife, Joy, and a lot of you get to talk to her on the Friday night live streams. A wonderful supporter, incredible supporter. But she had a few little things, disclaimers, right? She says, look, when you're prepping, she said, one of my biggest pet peeves that I foresee is I just don't want to see them. Like, she just doesn't want to feel cluttered. She doesn't want to feel, when she opens up the pantry, that it's just overfloated, overcrowded, and that she sees other cabinets and things maybe packed with things. She likes it organized and things, which I do too. And I love that she wants it organized. So that was one of her things. So I'm like, okay, that's great. The cabinet I have behind me, that's a cabinet that I mentioned. I'm up in my bonus room right now, and I use an extra cabinet that doesn't go with the white decor up here and the brown, right? It's a different off color, but she's allowed me to do this so I can keep things up here in the cabinet, and I put a few examples up here. I'm sure you noticed that. And I could put them in this cabinet to keep them from cluttering the kitchen and the pantry downstairs, the working prepper pantry, right? So I can keep extra things here. And this is just one example of one idea. I have a couple of little things that I do just to keep things kind of out of sight and out of mind. So anyway, I don't mean to get too far rambling and too far on rabbit trails. I'm just trying to give you encouragement and hope that there is a potential chance that you can coexist with somebody who's not a prepper, maybe who doesn't believe in it. And I hope they're not against it. I hope that maybe they can understand at least some of the short-term benefits of being a prepper. And if you can get them to at least come eye to eye and see eye to eye on some of the basic things, I think that gives you room to move forward with things. So again, I hope you guys are having a great day. Jump in the comments. If you don't mind hitting a thumbs up, that would be phenomenal. And I appreciate you guys for being a part of the House of Prep family here. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I look forward to doing more videos this week. And y'all take care now, okay? Have a great week.